I reacted when my boyfriend confirmed that his ex was the right person, wrong time. The author of the post is listed in the description. My boyfriend and I are in our late 20s and have been seriously together for 1 year now. We were hanging out with some of his friends and they fondly talked about his ex, who he dated for over 4 years and broke up because she got a job in a new city and broke up. Thought that everything was fine until a girlfriend told me that she heard my boyfriend say that his ex was the right person, wrong time, and cautioned me. When we got home, I asked him this, and he confirmed he said that, and I hated just how cavalier his response was. He said, sure, she was the right person at the wrong time, but I've moved on and love you now. Like he doesn't get it. I don't want to be someone he has to move on to. I don't see why he didn't see a problem with what he said. Sure, he might be faithful to me, but it gave me the ick that for him, that she's the one who got away. I told him all of my feelings, and he accused me of being insecure. I said that I needed some space to think about our relationship and whether I can continue being with someone who still considers an ex that one great love of his life and not his current partner. Am I the insecure one here? Look, I've been in relationships before, and yes, I did love them at the time, but meeting my current partner trumps all those past feelings, and I never had this philosophy that the right person breaks up with you. Because I believe in the saying that if they wanted, they would. Makes it easier to move on. What he feels dents my trust in this relationship and makes me feel like I'm not worthy of being his biggest love. Ada. Relevant comments before update. Commenter. Many people have the one that got away. That shouldn't in any way affect their love or feelings for those in their lives in the present. Answer. The problem is he verbalized that his ex was the right person for him to others and to his own partner. We are all allowed to have private feelings about who we thought we could have ended up with. In my case, I had a serious relationship too, and it also ended because of external factors, and I didn't want us to break up then. Even I thought they were the right person for me, so to speak. But I am glad we separated because nothing trumps the feeling of gratitude of being with your current partner. The matter is, does he feel grateful looking back that he is no longer with her because he's with me? Because that's the only thing I care about at this point. I want alignment here. If he isn't glad he broke up with her, then it's a no-go for me. What do you mean by that? Him not being glad is a no-go? You can be perfectly happy about a heartbreak you experienced in the past because a much better person came along. Speaking in hindsight, of course, I may not be happy when I was experiencing the heartbreak, but I am now happy that I experienced the heartbreak in the past because I found a better partner in my present because of that. Time will tell if I really want to be with him given the shaky grounds here. You can be happy about sad events in the past if that lead to much better outcomes. For example, you can be happy your dream company turned you down from a job because you found something even bigger and better which you wouldn't have got had you not gone through the heartbreak of being rejected from that job. You can be happy that you got cheated on in the past because it saved you from building a life with that person. You can be happy you broke up with that boyfriend who dated you for 5 years and didn't propose to you because being in that relationship kept you from finding your husband. This isn't about being happy in the sense that you are going all out partying throughout as you're experiencing heartbreak, but making peace with the fact and knowing in your heart that you will always choose the present if given the choice to what reality you get to have. Rom-coms where he winds up with the ex are based on less. You deserve to be his only choice. If we are really talking about rom-coms, all I want is that if he sees himself in the third perspective, he should want to ship himself with me and not his exes. Like not even say I ship myself with both A and B because both relationships have different strengths, etc. I don't want him to entertain any other girl in mind, even in that sense. Does that make sense? Commenter. 100%. I also believe that they wouldn't have worked out. They let each other go because something was missing or they would have fought to stay together. Now, does he know that? I don't know. Answer. That is a very interesting way to think. He made it clear to me that he won't do long distance because he can't do it. And if I were to move away, he'd break up with me likely, just the way he and his ex broke up. If let's say the right woman came in his life, would she change this condition of his? Unsure of the context of him telling others, but he only told you because you asked him, would you have rather had him lie? I believe I did right by myself by asking him to confirm what he said. Because what he said isn't appropriate when verbalized to his own partner, judging by the cavalier attitude he had. What matters the most is what he feels truly about me and what happened in his life. Maybe she's a nice girl who he once knew, but that's all she is to him now. And is he happy he is no longer with her because he gets to be with me as a consequence of that breakup? I doubt he feels that way. Commenter: it isn't a competition. He can say he wished they could have worked it out while being glad he ended up with you. Feelings are complex. Look at it this way. What if instead of them breaking up, she died? You wouldn't expect him to be glad that she died just because he is happy to end up with you. Unless he is saying he wants her back now, then it shouldn't be an issue. Answer: I don't prefer dating a widower for the same reasons. I don't think it's appropriate for him to wish that they worked out. More on that. I feel that dating a widowed person comes with many challenges, blurring and bending of many rules that are applicable in normal relationships, such as keeping photos, mementos, constantly talking about the late partner, etc., and those things make me uncomfortable. It's awful to wish that you're happy they died, and that's exactly the reason I stay away from dating people with that kind of a baggage. I don't expect these people to wish they are happy their partner died. And I shouldn't. But I can always wish someone with living exes to wish they are content with the fact their previous relationships ended, and that those relationships ending in ultimately a good thing, because those ending allowed him to find me. You need therapy because you're so insecure and trying to dictate how he feels. I can't control what he feels, but I can control who I choose to be with. That is why I made this post, to use it as a sounding board as to whether him and I have the same feelings about each other. I have no intentions of changing his feelings, just exploring what matters to me and assessing whether he feels the same way, and decide whether to break up to continue. Update. Hi guys, thanks for everyone who participated here. I had already made up my mind about the relationship, however, just wanted to use Reddit as a sounding board to confirm what most people think, and most of you agree with me. So I felt secure in my decision. He and I had a talk. It was clear that we are not aligned in the sense in how we feel about past relationships ending. I asked him whether he thinks that things ending with his ex is a good thing, ultimately in hindsight, because that allowed him to find me. He disagreed with me and yet said he is happy he has me and loves me, but can't admit he is grateful for his past relationship ending. I just can't reconcile the two statements. It's too contradictory, and I find it will eat away at me if I stay in this relationship. We broke up. Like I said, I don't condemn him for how he feels. I simply think he isn't the man for me. Maybe he needs a girl who can understand him and probably has a history of being with someone she regrets leaving too. Anyway, some people tried to trick me into thinking I am the insecure one when I ironically was the one who proposed that first. But I remembered what my therapist said about boundaries and feelings. They are not right or wrong. They are personal to each person and each relationship, and if they work for two people, why should anyone outside of you two have the right to comment on that? Condescending therapy to anyone is a bad thing, because one of the most important reminders in therapy is you're there to figure out your own needs and feelings, rather than accept something that's unacceptable to you. My boundaries and feelings with the right person for me will clearly not harm anyone. As I am, have no intent to changing anyone's feelings or personality. I will walk away. So yes, I conclude I am not insecure. I am just a person with differing needs in a relationship who needs to find someone whose values align with mine. I am not looking for a virgin or anything. I've had enough experience with heartbreak myself. I just want someone who only prefers to be with me regardless of how meaningful their past relationships were. And I'll give them the same. Okay, next story. I refusing to share my vacation home with my in-laws for 6 months after they sold their house without consulting me. Background: my husband, 35M, and I, 33F, have been married for 5 years. We own a beautiful vacation home on the beach that we built ourselves and use throughout the year. My in-laws, 60s, have always been welcome guests, visiting for a few weeks here and there, and contributing financially towards maintenance costs. Last month, my in-laws suddenly announced they were selling their house to downsize and move into a tiny condo. Apparently, they've been secretly harboring this idea for months, never mentioning it to me or my husband. They plan to close on the sale in 2 weeks and then move into our vacation home for 6 months while they figure things out. I was floored. This house is our sanctuary, not a retirement home extension. We use it frequently, have friends and family booked to visit throughout the year, and rely on the income it generates during peak season. My in-laws, on the other hand, haven't lifted a finger on the property themselves and contributed only minimally. My husband, bless his sweetheart, is more understanding. He feels bad for his parents and believes we can make it work. His in-laws, sensing my resistance, are now guilt-tripping us, claiming they have nowhere else to go and offering to pay significantly more than their usual contribution. Aida for refusing to let them move in. On one hand, I feel obligated to help family in need, but on the other, this feels like an outrageous imposition on our personal space and finances. Relevant comments before update. More on relationship with in-laws. My relationship with them is strained because this is not the first time they have grossly overstepped. This had led to many a fight between my husband and me. My husband sees no wrong in their behavior and thinks we should just help them. Every time they're at the vacation home, they've commented on how much they love it and would love to live in a place like this at retirement. So I feel this was a very intentional move on their part. Not letting them stay will create conflict in my marriage, but I'm pretty positive that they will never leave if we let them move in. What else have they done? On our first marriage anniversary, they gifted us a chicken. We lived in an apartment at the time. On Valentine's Day, the second year, they showed up at our house mid-afternoon because they thought it would be special to spend the night with us. On the birth of our daughter, my mother-in-law refused to leave the delivery room until I had the nurse drag her out, and then she sobbed obnoxiously loud in the hallway outside the room. When COVID happens, she ordered us cases and cases of beans and other canned food to help us prep for the apocalypse, and then sent us the bill. My mother-in-law demands all holidays with them and shows up unannounced to my parents, who are 4 hours away each holiday we spend with them, and forces us out of my bedroom, and we sleep on the pull-out sofa the whole visit. My mother-in-law demanded my husband go to her house last year to fix something on our daughter's birthday, and then kept him there till after the birthday party was over, and then had a birthday party she planned for my daughter at her house the next day. Our second daughter's birth was similar, where she sobbed and instantly FaceTimed my husband since I refused to let her into my delivery room. She sent a mixed nuts package to my parents at Christmas this last year, knowing my dad is deathly allergic to tree nuts. I could go on and on. Update. I'll give a quick update while I wait to get the kids from school and answer a few questions I saw pop up. We co-own the beach house. We bought it in 2020 when interest rates were super low before houses skyrocketed. The in-laws have helped us with projects and pay for a few things, but so do my parents. So we have never thought of their contribution as anything but help from parents. They had their annual Old Farts Christmas party, their words not mine, there this past December, and had the place for a week free of charge for them and all their guests. So they definitely have gotten plenty of use of it. We had a come-to-Jesus moment yesterday, and I was the asshole to my husband. I told him I was done, and I wasn't even entertaining them staying there, as it's our business, and this is bad business. I basically told him I was over his mom, and it was at the point I'm about to peace out because I can't handle her shit anymore. Previous to this, I was no contact with her and would entertain them when they'd come to visit. They never stayed at our house as we live relatively close to them. He still has no clue if they're truly selling their house, if they're upside on bills or they're just assholes, but I honestly don't care. My parents are immigrants and own a restaurant and have worked their asses off to create a fantastic life for me and my siblings. They also taught us the value of money and working hard for the things we have. The vacation home was bought cheap, but 90% of the renovations were done by me during my free time. Renovations are my true love. Nursing pays the bills. I love it too, but it doesn't fill the creative cup. I told him he'd lose the house to his parents over my dead body, and if he feels the need to financially set them up, he can do so with extra money he earns from picking up shifts, also a nurse. Basically, I told him their failure was not an emergency on my part. They have always kept up the Jones and spent exorbitantly, so they might be broke, and again, I don't care. I've barely tolerated his mom for the past few years. I'll be cordial because I was raised well, but I'm over tolerating their nonsense. I will say he does see all this crap she pulls, but he was raised, that mom knows best. He's Puerto Rican, so this is partially cultural. But I'm done. I worked yesterday and busted my ass and then drove the kids to the beach house last night and picked up dinner and we are there and I just thought, fuck no. So time will tell, but he called his parents and on speakerphone told them they couldn't stay, but the offer to condo hunt is still open, but he needs to know the price range and all that jazz. His mom cried and I flipped the phone off. So as of this moment, it's not happening. I also told him if it's a problem, he can quit claim deed the beach house and I'll cover the expenses and manage it myself. 'Cause mama don't play. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.